Guest of honor, Mrs. Josephine Teo, Minister for Manpower and Second Minister for Home Affairs. Mr. Ng Yak Chung, CEO of Singapore Press Holdings and Chairman of SPH Magazines. Mr. Anthony Tan, Deputy CEO of SPH and Director of SPH Magazines. Ms. Maureen Wee, CEO of SPH Magazines. Ms. Jenny Chua, thank you for the lovely intro. Chairman of herworld Woman of the Year Judging Committee, and all committee members, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you. So when I was a tiny human, around 4 or 5, my mom used to say to me, Annabelle, you can give, but you cannot take. So you know how in kindergarten and primary school where we like to exchange small little presents with each other, like those flag erasers and cute Hello Kitty rulers? I always say, my mommy said I cannot take because I'll get into so much trouble when I get home and she spot checks my bag. So in 2005, I understood what she meant. I was 13 years old when part of the group that went to Phuket to help with the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. As we drove, I saw mountains of rubble by the roadside. I saw large ships, metal tankers, displaced far from the ocean or the sea. And I remember a grown-up telling me to hold my breath because of the lingering smell of rotting bodies. My job was to go to the orphanage to cheer up the children. And these are kids who have lost their homes, their parents, their relatives. And you know, I saw kids my age, no older than I was back then, carrying their baby brothers and sisters. It was heartbreaking. But this was also where I witnessed the power of the human spirit. I had expected to see the children to be sad and tired from having lost so much so suddenly, but instead I was greeted by laughter and giggles at every orphanage that I went to. And it's very amazing to see how these children rallied around each other in their times of adversity. So when one child starts crying, a circle will form around that child and they'll be all hugging and crying together. And after a while, the tears will become laughter and smiles. So I went there with the intention to help them, but I returned home with an understanding of life much deeper than my peers. And for that, I'm forever grateful to the kids. I understood what it means to be inclusive. I understood the importance of spreading happiness. And I saw how important relationships are. Because when people stand united, anything can be overcome, even the worst situations where you lose everyone you love. So 6 years later, I traveled solo to Africa. It was to Togo, a small country in West Africa. I was 19 years old, it was 2012, and I was just tired of Singapore, you know. I wanted to seek an adventure, to see something that I've never seen before. And in Africa, I saw poverty. I saw kids with bloated bellies running around. I saw women raising their families in extremely poor conditions with swarms of malaria-ridden mosquitoes and, you know, where fresh water supply is limited. I saw the mentally ill bathing with sewage water in the middle of the city by the roadside because they don't have the support that they need to. And I met teenagers my age who have never received a basic education in their life because they've been working in the fields the entire time. So I couldn't ignore what I saw. I had to do something. I went down to the local university in Togo, the University of Kara, and found a group of very passionate students who want to make a change in their community. So we went down to local markets, rural villages, community areas, just trying to do what we can, teaching them about everything from HIV prevention to financial planning. And when we were not traveling on the road, I was helping them write proposals and grants to submit to local authorities and international organizations, requesting for support and representing the people who have fallen way, way below the poverty line. So I wasn't an A+ student back in Singapore, but yet I felt like I was making a difference through the work that I was doing, through just openly sharing my knowledge and insights. And that made me realize something, that there are many ways of giving back, and you don't have to wait until you are the best at what you do to start contributing. So that's why I started NeuroBay. We built AI software through image and video processing. because I want to make technology accessible and affordable to the people who need it the most. Big corporations like Google and Facebook are leading the innovation race in this technological era, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that the smaller businesses are left behind. They can't catch up fast enough. And even worse, some of them do not realize that they are in a different era, the digital era. And we need to do something before the technical disparity grows too large too quickly, before it worsens existing problems like financial and social disparity. So at NeuroBay, we operate on something like a Robin Hood model where we take from the rich and we give to the poor. And by that, I mean that in the most responsible and figurative way. Okay, so when developing an AI software, there are certain parts of the code that you can actually recycle and repackage for a different use case without having to infringe on data privacy and patent laws. So when I say take from the rich, we get data and their consent to recycle some of the code for the smaller businesses. So NeuroBay is and will always be a vehicle to do social good. But because we want to prioritize doing the right thing, the journey has not always been easy for us. We've turned down money from investors whose intentions are not aligned with our goals to do social good. And we've turned down high-paying projects from clients where our technology could potentially be used in the wrong way, because we want to build things that help people and not harm them. So what keeps me up at night is less so on how to solve technical problems, but whether it's socially, ethically responsible to do a certain project. Because knowing how to do the right thing all the time is not always easy, especially when the world is gray and the answer is not always obvious. But nonetheless, I take this responsibility very seriously. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I hope that by hearing my story, you realize that I'm just an ordinary girl who's trying to do her part in the world. And, I'm just a girl who dares to love, who dares to open up her heart to include others, who dares to share and contributes, and understand that life is more than just about living for yourself, that there's a very long-lasting joy in giving. And that's the lesson my mom tried to teach me as a kid. So where's my mom? Oh, there she is. Ma, stand up. On your chair. Yeah, you can. But because she taught me how to give and not to receive, I'm still really, really bad at receiving compliments and awards. It makes me very uncomfortable. Yeah. So to all the past winners, I'm humbled and very privileged to be in the same company as you. And to herworld, thank you for the honors of this prestigious award. And to everybody in this room, thank you for listening. I hope that you understand that there are many ways of giving back, and I hope that you'll find a way that you can actually do so openly and freely. Because when you give with an open heart, you'll receive in many folds in ways that are unexpected and beautiful. Thank you.